angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our worth of stone, our ashes, and we both passed on. Let forever mean forever and carry on.
Good afternoon. It is another day, Friday, though. That is good. I'm ready. I'm ready for the weekend. I'm ready to hopefully sleep in tomorrow. Not that doing the news is something I have to get up extra early for or anything like that, but I do like to get up early. I do like to get in here, get some coffee in me, and start mulling over the different news that came in throughout the night. Although I would like to maybe sleep in tomorrow, I don't see it happening because we have this little thing. Well, not we. But a little thing going on called the Yellow Vest protest that I'm trying to stay on top of. I'm assuming Luke is no longer in Paris per the video that we played last night. I guess he went ahead and got out of Dodge. Probably not a super bad idea. So anyway. Got an interesting topic today to speak about before we get into the news articles, and I'm going to be talking about nationalism versus patriotism, because I think it's something that is getting quite confused. But I think I have some pretty simple ways to be able to differentiate between the two, because it could be confusing. I could see where it could be confusing, but it's really important. It's ultimately important that we do not confuse the two. You have people out there right now trying to prop up nationalism as if it's a good thing, and it's not. It is not. Nationalism, contrary to what people want to make it sound like, and you can throw all the definitions at me you want, doesn't matter. Nationalism is when you put your government before the people. That's nationalism, okay? We're going to get into more of that here in a minute, but I real quick want to run through things, get that out of the way. Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube, I'll tell you what, I'll be so glad to get off of their monetization platform. Speaking of money, before we go anywhere, I just pulled this up. I will refresh it in front of you so you see that I'm not up to any tomfoolery. But stocks aren't so hot today. Another Friday closing, not looking good. Dow is down 496.87, and as you can see there, everything is down. S&P 500 is down 50.59. NASDAQ's down 159.67. Global Dow is down 36.35. You know what? It's probably better if I read you the percentages instead of the amounts there. That would probably make a little more sense. Dow is down just over 2%. S&P 500's down just under 2%. NASDAQ is down a little more than 2.25%. Global Dow is down 1.28%. Gold is even down 0.43%, and oil is down 2.59%. So, not looking real good in the stock market. The gains that we had made this past week were pretty small in comparison to the falls that we made in the previous week. Okay, so, and the falls actually that we had this week too, but when you stack what we had gained over the last 2 weeks up versus what we have lost, we're in the red pretty good. And this is supposed to be a month to where, you know, our stock market's supposed to be doing good, right? Black Friday, supposed to be doing good. Crypto, it's actually in the green now. When I originally brought this up, and this is why I refresh. Even though the page auto-refreshes itself, I'll manually refresh it myself just to make sure. And there, it just went from 38 to 61. So Crypto is bouncing around. It is still under 3,300. And I keep saying crypto, I mean Bitcoin. When I say crypto, I mean Bitcoin. There's like 5 million coins out there. I'm not going to cover them all. Bitcoin is pretty much a standard that everything in the crypto world is going by, as far as I've noticed when Bitcoin goes down, most of the other coins follow suit. So that's why I focus on Bitcoin. Not that I'm trying to rule out any particular coins or anything like that, but in respect of time, I just covered Bitcoin. So I wanted to go over that with you real quick. Let me run through our stuff real quick. I'll get to the topic at hand, and we'll get into the news articles. Took a big hit on subscribers. Had 3,899 this morning, so I don't know what's up. We lost 6 throughout the day. I honestly, because you know me, I laugh when it's because of a video I make. Like I suspect to lose subscribers from today's video, right? But from yesterday's, not so much. So I don't know what's going on there, but financially, we're $9.33. Google AdSense, of course, is the same as I told you yesterday, $81.38. And yes, I'm going to run through it again. What we're doing is Google AdSense has a $100 threshold to be able to collect your money. So we have to build that $81.38 up to $100 before we can collect. Now, that's what every YouTuber is doing, right? Our point of doing this is to get out of Google AdSense. Once we collect that $100, or I'm sure it'll probably be a few cents more, once we collect that $100 from Google AdSense, we are live on the air doing a YouTube monologue. We're going to completely cancel our Google AdSense account and demonetize our YouTube channel. And we want to do this because of everything that's going on, all just the censorship, just everything. It's all completely backwards from the way it should be. And so it's not much of a statement. It's not a very big middle finger, but nonetheless, it's a middle finger, and that's our intent. So that's what's up with that. Now, either we will reach that by we normally only get a couple of dollars a month here. Okay, thanks to Evil had put in a couple of super chats, a couple of $10 super chats. That's what's gotten us up to the 81. Okay, because of course we already had some in there. So as soon as we get up to that $100 threshold, I will shut up. You will never hear me talk about this again because I don't want to talk about it now. Okay, but super chats do help. It will get us to that point faster because, yeah, here's the thing, folks. Anything that, for the most part, that we put out gets demonetized. I mean, go figure, right? The video yesterday, you know, we normally don't have these views. We've got a small channel. So when I look at this and I see, oh, wow, yesterday's monologue has 42 views, that's pretty awesome because we're a small channel. I don't expect that we have thousands of views, right? Demonetized. And they got on that quick because it started to build up views early on. Boom, they niched it real quick. Folks, it doesn't make any sense to me. 42 views. Out of those 42 views, 5 thumbs up. None down. To me, that's pretty remarkable. It really is. But nonetheless, we only, you know, from our video content, we're lucky to get a couple of bucks a month that goes towards this balance. So again, super chats do help. Please help me to shut the hell up and help us get past this. And just in case anybody wants to know, that $100 is going to go towards a video card, so that hopefully I can bring some more, smooth video to you. Maybe even stream out to another, platform or two. But I need a little stronger video for that. Not a whole new computer. I'm not going to be Alex Jonesing you, or I'm not going to be Pete Scamtillying you. I'm just going to replace the video card. I found a budget one that I can get that's much faster than the one I have. Jen will get the one that I'm using currently, and that's will help her dramatically too. So going from onboard video to GTX 650 is like night and day difference. Myself, I'll probably be going up to a GTX 1050, but it'll be a budget, no-name generic card. So nonetheless, that's what's up. That's what's going on with that. let's get to the topic that I intended to talk about. So here's the thing. Nationalism versus patriotism. Got into a discussion today on Facebook, and guy thinks he's a patriot, right? And I run into this all the time. All the time. You know, among the so-called patriot group, and as we know it, as we, the people that often come here, know the patriot group, the patriots that we are most commonly associated with, I can ask those people two questions. I can do it in one, but now it's expanded to two. And I can tell you whether they're a patriot or whether they're a nationalist. And they're both the same question, just different people. Do you still support Ammon Bundy? Second question, do you still support Gavin Syme? The second one's a tough one for a lot of people. Okay? Even the first one's gotten pretty tough. The people that say no are nationalists. I can prove it to you. I can prove it to you. As I said earlier, nationalism is when you're willing to support your country over your countrymen. And when I say countrymen, that includes women, by the way. Not trying to exclude women. I'm not going to play the political correct game. Sorry. A patriot is somebody that supports their countrymen and women over the government. Okay? So the moment somebody comes at you with their blue line bullshit, right there is enough to know that they're a nationalist, not a patriot. There's a difference. There's a difference. And it's a pretty clear one. But I can see where people get confused. Okay? So it came up to, actually Gavin had came up in this conversation. I mentioned him. And the first word out of their mouth was traitor. Wait, how is, does this guy even know, definitions of words, or is he just making it up as he goes along? Because a traitor is somebody that betrays their country or their countrymen. Okay? Now you have to understand, the ruling party, aka the government, whatever, is not the country. Okay? There's a difference between the two. The government is not the country. We, the civilians, the citizens, we are the country. Okay? Now, I know there's probably, if he's watching, somebody screaming at me right now, and I want to clarify, I want to go into that a little bit more, because the reality is, settle down, Steve, I've got this. If you're there, buddy. The reality is, we're the government. Okay? We are the government. We are the one that makes the decisions in this country. Okay? Now, I know that may seem really bizarre to you right now because you've been brainwashed and mind-fucked for decades into thinking that you can't make your own decisions, that you need a group of people, a body of people to do that. Nothing further than the truth. We are the ones in control. We just forgot that. As a society, we had forgot that. So, now that we kind of understand that, because it does get a little bit confusing once you start to get amongst the folds of everything. Yeah, we are the government. But the reason why I use that label, why I use that term and throw it out there as meaning them, is because that's what the majority of the people accept. Although it be wrong, that is what the majority accepts. So, to defend an unconstitutional and overreaching government, okay, against a citizen that means no harm to another individual, that is a traitor. That is a traitor. You and I, our job, same as the military, to support and defend the Constitution. I don't see anything in that damn Constitution about supporting and defending Trump. I don't see anything in that Constitution about supporting and defending any government official. Do you know what I see in that Constitution? Do you know who it says to support? Can you answer that for me? Your countrymen. Your countrymen. So, here's the thing. If people would have supported Gavin Syme and stood behind him, he wouldn't have left the country. Plain and simple. He would not have left the country. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that people can't see that. And you've got people like this. By the way, he's just parroting what he's heard his masters tell him to parrot. Oh, he's a traitor. He left the country. No, you're the traitor. He was exposing corruption. He was exposing fraud. It just happened to be the fraud and corruption by your beloved blue line. This is a messed up country that we are in. So again, to recap this, because it can be confusing, but it's not that hard. You have to want to understand it. If you're willing to defend a corrupt, treasonous, unconstitutional government over the people, whether or not they share the same opinion as you or not, you are a nationalist, which is not too awful far away from a communist. Pretty close. They both support authoritarianism. Okay? Your country, the United States, right? The Declaration of Independence, your Bill of Rights, that's not in support of authoritarianism. It's not in support of communism. It's in support of individual liberty. It means instead of mocking and scoffing at and putting down those that you disagree with, you stand behind them in the right that they have to say it, the rights that they have to feel the ways they feel. You don't have to agree with them. My God, I haven't ran into a single person on this planet, not one single person on this planet that I agree with absolutely everything that they have to say. Do I write them off because they differ in opinion on something? No, I'm not retarded. Are you? Because if you write people off because of one difference of an opinion, I'm sorry, you're fucking retarded. Because I've learned a hell of a lot of things from people that I didn't even like. But I could learn. They could teach me something. And in return, many times I'd been able to teach them something. And if you do it just right, you can introduce your viewpoints to them. I didn't say push your beliefs on them. I said introduce your viewpoints. Big difference. Big difference. This country has turned authoritarianism. We all want to decide what others can and can't do, what time they can do it, how they can do it. It's absolutely insane. And it's gotten to the point that people don't know the difference between true patriots and true traitors. I mean, we've got these red flag laws, another one coming up in Arkansas. How do you like that? How do you like that, you fucking Trump voters? Who do you think has backed that law that's getting it passed so quickly in so many states? I can show you the fucking video. It's frustrating. Nothing more frustrating than somebody that just blindly follows any leader, is somebody that buys the dumbass, retarded fucking Q crap. There's your nationalist right there. You want to find a group of nationalists? You find these morons following Q. They don't give a damn about you. They don't give a damn about your individual liberty. They don't even give a damn about the truth. They want you to believe a bunch of lies and propaganda and bullshit, so you sit on your ass with your TV remote in your hand and you don't do a thing. So if that's what you want to stand for, then go support Q. But again, and I digress, I'm not retarded. Told you, I'm not going to get a lot of fans on this video. I don't care. I don't care. I'm here to tell the truth. I'm here to do the news. Which means I don't even have to like what I say. But if it's the truth, I have to say it. Imagine that. News. What a concept. Unbelievable. It really is. I just kind of peeked over. News now. What was he arrested for, Segway? I just happened to peek over and see the chat, and I seen News Now, Patrick arrested. It seems like I recall News Now, but I'm trying to think of, like, I don't know, give me a little bit on that. Like where he was arrested, why, kind of thing, if you don't mind. It's just kind of one of those things. I didn't think Gary Franchi was News Now. That was the next news, I thought. But anyway, I digress. I'm still watching chat, by the way, I do see that you say filming. So yeah, I mean, folks, we got to get this right. I'm not doing this. I'm not coming out here. I'm not saying these things because I want to be an asshole or I want to rub people the wrong way or that damn it, man. When I was a kid, I was throwing a fit at the store. I think I wanted to buy something. I don't know. I don't remember this. I'd been told the story. And my mom wouldn't buy it. And I threw a fit. Told her I was running away from home. Mom said, okay. We were at the local grocery store. So I walked outside. Middle of winter. Snow and ice all over. Cold. I was going to do it. I had enough. At the ripe age of probably 6 or 7. So I took off. Headed out across the parking lot. I was going to do it. I was going to do it. And I walked. And I walked. And I walked. I'm up to about 20 feet now. Looking back every couple of steps. Just in case the boogeyman was behind me or something. Right? And I walked. And I walked. And I walked. Made it all the way across the parking lot. Probably about a football field distance. Where's Mom? Turn around, where's Mom? Oh, she was there, in the car, watching, waiting for me to turn around, looking for her, and asking where she was, so she could come pick my dumb ass up. Right? But she had to let me walk. She had to let me take that walk so I could realize that I could very well be left alone if I made the wrong choices. That's what I don't want to happen to you. And if I have to call people a retard to do it, I will. I will. It's not because I hate you. Because I want you to wake up. I want you to see that there is an entire nation hurting. And just because you, at this specific time and moment, may not be losing your rights, you've got an entire fellow countrymen and women that are losing theirs. And many, many are in support of it. Yours are next. You going to be that kid all by himself in that cold, snowy parking lot looking for Mom? That choice is yours. That choice is yours. Learn the difference between patriotism and nationalism. Retrain your mind. Instead of stepping on your fellow countrymen and women because it's of no consequence to you now, that's not a patriot. Not even close. Anyway, let me cover some news. That's a serious problem, folks. We've got to pull our heads out of our butts on this one. We don't have much time. We don't. And if it goes the way I suspect, if those lights go out, you better have a different frame of mind. Because it's going to take a village to survive. And that village is likely going to have Muslims, African Americans, Mexicans, you name it. Your choice. Your choice. Everybody just wants to live free in peace. Okay? They want to worship who they want to worship. Right? They want to spend time with who they want to spend time with. Most of us pretty much have the same idea of what the pursuit of happiness is. And most of us all share that. Just because we're of a different nationality or religion or skin color, it doesn't change that. You've been propagandized. It's going to take that village, and we can start building that village now. Maybe not in our neighborhoods so much as what we can in our homes and in our hearts, in our minds. And that will transfer into your city blocks, your city, your towns, counties, states. But it's got to start at home. Got to start in those hearts and those minds first. And until we understand that and start practicing it, we're in some deep trouble. Seriously, seriously deep trouble. Anyway, let's see. Let me just kind of run through the stuff. Watch officer sucker punches man in video released by whistleblower cop. This cop is, from my understanding, having a hell of a time because he's trying to get the whistleblower protections and stuff like that. They're giving this guy a fight, hey, that's a good cop. You don't, that's like a word, two words you normally never hear me say together. It's good cop. We've got a good cop here. We need to support the good cop, right? We've got a good cop. They're like a needle in a haystack, but we've got one. People need to step up. They need to do what needs to be done to make sure that this officer, truly an officer, is taken care of. Okay? Sorry, sip of coffee. I normally do that before. Illinois. You gotta love this. To consider bringing competitive video gaming to the high school level. Yeah. You know, people always dream of their child being a quarterback on the varsity football team. Yeah. Now I guess kids would be gaming video games in school. That just doesn't sit right with me. It just doesn't. Maybe I'm old, maybe I'm stubborn, maybe I'm stuck in my... I don't know what it is. It just does not sit right in me. And I'm not a sports guy, by the way. I'm not rah-rah shit. I, went to 2 football games, I think, in my entire high school career. Gun deaths in U.S. reach highest level in nearly 40 years, CDC data reveals. Hey, I just do the news, folks. Unfortunately, like I told you earlier, I don't always like it. But I'm not going to hide something from you that's a fact because I don't like that fact. That's propaganda. I don't do that. So I haven't dug into this. I don't know. That's just what the headline's saying. Again, I haven't dug into it at all. It could be a matter where numbers are played with. It may not be. Maybe things are that rough. I do know I like many of those guns I see hanging on that wall. I definitely like the bullpup design. Ain't that bad? I'm talking about a news report of how there's gun deaths, the highest number of gun deaths in 40 years, and I'm talking about which guns I like. Is there a problem with that? Anyway, though, I do love that. I do love that. I can't remember the name of that. If it's PDW or something, I don't know. I love the bullpup design. But anyway, underneath of that, I'm not quite sure if that's a Kel-Tec KSG. It looks like a Kel-Tec KSG. Nevertheless, I love the Kel-Tec KSG. So, yeah, there is that. So there we go. I turned a bad article into a good one, right? Let's see. Red flag law would temporarily seize guns from Arkansans. Sounds like a disease. Arkansans. The people who live in Arkansas. Arkansanians. I don't know. We'll make something up. But anyway, so the red flag law in Arkansas. Thank you, Trump. Right? Thank you, Trump. Again, I'm not anti-Trump, folks. What I am is anti-bullshit. Okay? And anybody that thinks that somebody that has been anti-gun, an anti-gun Democrat their entire life, to scam the American people to thinking that they were Republicans so they could get into office, is going to magically turn pro Second Amendment. Remember that retarded thing? Yeah. Really retarded. KFC, you got to have this. Everybody's got to have 5 of these. In fact, Trump needs to make it a law, right? Executive order. KFC is selling a log for your fireplace, and it smells like fried chicken. Did you send that link to your dad, by the way? I did. You did? Okay. The last couple of times Jim's dads came to visit, they've gone to Kentucky Fried Chicken to get dinner. And so I made sure to have Jen send them the link to this article. Russia would be bound by no obligations if U.S. quits INF treaty. Think about that, okay? That's like a two-sided coin there, Let's see. Not that I think it does any good, by the way. These treaties and all that, that's nothing but, yeah, it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Means nothing. It just means it's like a truck driver. Well, it's like it used to be with a truck driver in the logbooks, right? As long as everything looked good on the surface, you're fine. Roll on through, right? Same with these damn treaties. I mean, come on. Trade unions rally against pension reform in Brussels amid nationwide strike. French unions to take to streets calling for day of action in Paris. Oh, they're not done with Paris yet. Not even close. Facebook says bug exposed private photos of up to 6.8 million users, which is pretty much the entire platform. So, Merry Christmas. All the photos you thought were private, not so much. I'm telling you, Facebook is a limited time thing. They're making a lot of mistakes. And possibly on purpose. Pentagon corrects $331 million accounting error, bills Saudis and UAE for refueling jets bombing Yemen. Remember yesterday I mentioned that? I don't get it. Solid relations in time of sanctions. Germany's investments into Russia exceed $2 billion. And I'm not sure if that's euros or pounds, but it's kind of like the E. Let's see. Green balls of fire. Comet to light up sky in closest past for the next 20 years. Syria aiming to compete at 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. I thought that was an interesting... that's extremely interesting. France counting up billions in lost revenues after weeks of yellow vest protests. Now, here you have, I call it propaganda, and I'm not saying RT is necessarily doing the propaganda, but you have this everywhere that there are protests or anything like that, including here in the U.S. All of a sudden, news articles will run about how much money it's costing for the cleanup and for this and that and the other thing. Folks, that's intended to divide you, okay? Again, the nationalist and patriot thing, that's what it's intended to do. It's intended to side you with the government because, oh, well, damn, I'm more taxes. I'm paying more taxes because these fools with no jobs out there protesting and blah, blah, blah. That's what they intend to do. They intend to turn you into a nationalist, okay? That is the whole idea. I don't know what to tell people. It's insane. Your government wastes way more money than it costs to clean up these cities and whatnot after these events. It's unbelievable the amount of money that your government wastes. Okay? This is nothing. It's a drop in the hat. And they will do that to pit you against your countrymen and women because it works. It works well. Look at the United States. You got the dumbass red team that always criticizes the dumbass blue team because the dumbass blue team is motivated enough to actually get off their asses and get in the streets and do something while the red team sits at home complaining. Okay? How do you think that division happens? Because here's the funny thing. Most of the protesters have jobs. They're not unemployed, worthless people with nothing to do. Okay? Most of them have jobs. It's amazing the divide that the media causes in this country. And all they have to do is tell you that it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. Right? Now, how many times does anybody in the government ever bring up to you how much is paid out in lawsuits for sex abuse scandals? How much is paid out in lawsuits for police brutality? How many people in the media or government bring that up, and how often? Ooh. I wonder if we took a look at the numbers on how much money was spent on what would cost more. They're trying to divide you. Be careful of these articles. All they got to do is tell you it's going to cost you something, and especially here in the United States, people, They start hyperventilating and getting sweaty and things get ugly. That nickel a year. Right? Will kill their children and women. Fury over black South African politicians call to kill whites. See? Coins just flip there for now. Why can't we just stop? I'll bet you there's plenty of African individuals, dark-skinned African individuals, that want nothing to do with this crap. They don't want to kill whites. They just, what? Oh, want to live life peacefully and do as they see fit? All the while not harming anybody else? Imagine that. Folks, we got to take a better look at who's pulling the strings. Yellow vest pro-Brexit protesters block Westminster Bridge. That's a pretty impressive feat, to be honest. Santax could be coming to town. Poll shows support for gender-neutral version of St. Nick. When is it going to stop? Seriously? Do we have to bleach and sanitize everything on this planet just to please the people that have nothing better to do than bitch and complain about things that can't possibly be even affecting their life? Can we stop? You know what will stop it? Same thing I've been praying for. Grid down. That'll put a stop to it. When you're more worried about where you're going to get the food to feed your mouth, you're not going to be so worried about what gender Santa is. It's what we need in this country. It is. It sounds sad. It sounds sick. It sounds disgusting. It sounds like I'm an evil, hateful... No, I'm not. I want a better country. And unfortunately, we've got some people in this country. And again, you know, I want to address this because it may make me sound authoritarian, and I'm not. I want us all to be able to live as we see fit, as long as we're not harming another individual. If you want to be gay, guess what? Go be gay. Right? But keep me out of it. Keep my children out of it. Keep the world. Go be gay. And I mean that in both senses of the word. Be homosexual and be happy about it. And I mean that. I completely, 110% mean that. Right? I won't bother you. I won't ridicule you. I won't tell you you have to change. I won't have a fucking thing to do with your lifestyle as long as you stay out of mine. Fair deal, right? How's that bad? Problem is we don't have that in this country. We have groups of people on all sides saying, you have to believe this way. You bunch of socialists. A lot of people don't get why I call, red team and blue team both communist, because they are. They're both authoritarianism. They both want you to do things how they say for you to do things. They both want to take your money. The only difference is who's going to get that money. What's the difference? There's not. What I want to see is a constitutionalist government. That's not supported by any of these lackeys in office now, not even Trump. Russia says it's business as usual. EU sanctions extension changes nothing. China to suspend extra tariffs on U.S.-made cars and parts for 3 months. Woman's bizarre, racially charged New York subway fight sparks citizens' arrest. This woman was just out of her damn mind. out of her damn mind. And I had an idea, right? Because when I see keywords, I ignore them. Like when I see the word racially charged, I ignore that. Because, see, media does that. They automatically want you to make your decision on how you feel about something before you even see it. Okay? So that's why I ignore those words until I see it. And yeah, it was, I knew pretty quick that it was racially motivated, considering it was like one white woman surrounded by a bunch of Asian people and a few African American people. There were other white folks on the subway that was, token white folk. No, I'm kidding. There was, a few people back, and they even took issue with this woman. It was stupid, really stupid. Russia and Syria to dump dollar in mutual trade, agree joint energy projects. Telling you, that dollar will not stand unless it's being propped up by these other countries, unless it's being propped up by OPEC. There's no way that dollar can stand. It's not even possible. How it's even standing now is part unicorn. My mouse loves to do this to me, and I had to fight with it. Here we go. Cleanse them. Turkey threatens to send troops to Syria's Manbij unless U.S. removes Kurdish militias. So I would have to do my homework to know a little bit more on this. It gets confusing after a while. You got 50 different names of terrorist groups, and then, I don't know. But anyway, I'm not sure. I'm assuming by the headline that the Kurdish troops are the same as the anti-Syrian troops. They're the U.S.-backed troops, the anti-Syrian. I'm believing that would be the case. And I find it interesting that Turkey is threatening to go clear them. That's a mess there that I can't even begin to completely work out. Turkey, I think, falls whatever way they can benefit from at the moment. I've been kind of noticing that. I've started paying a much closer attention to Turkey since that coup attempt that happened not super long ago. The U.S. and Serbian flags color opposite sides of Mitrovica as Kosovo votes to create army. And I'm sure I pronounced that stuff wrong. Iran loses market share in India as its oil exports slump in November. Israel Gate, as Russia probe runs dry, Mueller may turn to Middle East to pursue Trump collusion. But are you going to stop at Trump? Or are you going to go all the way back to when Israel was created? Because I'm pretty sure you can find collusion from just about every president since Israel became a nation. Just saying. Another one of those things I shake my head at. I just don't get how people don't see it, how they don't get it. Officials fault or parents neglect. 7-year-old migrant child dies in custody after crossing U.S. border. I haven't checked into this story. And I'm going to refrain from really saying anything because I don't know anything. Imagine that. Somebody saying that they don't know something, so they're not qualified to speak on it. Oh, that's new. I know, I'm an asshole. Number of prisoners in Russia hits record low. Let's see. The U.S. has record high incarceration rates. Russia has record low incarceration rates. U.S. diplomats did suffer ear damage after mysterious illness at Cuban embassy. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but there was diplomats over there, down there in Cuba, and I think their ears were starting to ring, and I think they had burning sensations. All kinds of crazy stuff. And it appears that there was ear damage as a result of that. Now, I want to remind folks, okay, and not that I'm necessarily pointing fingers or anything like that, but Russia and China has been having an increased amount of activity in Cuba. including new radar stations and whatnot. You know, I mean, it's definitely something worth thinking about. Russia's own internet, legislators plan to protect the country's web from foreign interference. Round 5, Yellow Vests prepare for massive Macron resign protest on Saturday. So see what they're doing? They're being very specific. Okay? They went after the fuel tax. It's gone. Goodbye. Been abolished. Okay? And they've been doing this. Every time they come out, they're specific about what they want. Folks in the United States need to make take a cue from this. Not the letter and the moron that says he's inside the Trump administration. No. A Q is in Q-U-E-U-E, if I spell that right. Need to take a cue from this, okay? They're being very specific. And so what is it that they're meeting for Saturday? What's their beef? They want Macron, potato, Italio, whatever. However you want to say his name, because I don't know how it's actually said. They want him to resign. Pretty simple, right? Why are you here? We want him to resign. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and I don't see these people giving up until they make it happen. Don't see it. Oh yeah, and I've seen a handful of people come out against what they're doing, the Yellow Vest protesters, and I'm just stumbled looking at them like, the fuck? I don't have a retarded enough look to express my thoughts when I run across people that are against the Yellow Vest protest, because every one of them so far has been somebody from the U.S. That claims themselves as a Red Team member, a conservative. And I'm like, the fuck? Because it just doesn't make any sense. Do they even know what they're protesting about over there? They don't. The magic word, protest, right? All you got to do is say the word protest to a conservative, right? Losers need to get jobs. Blah, protesters. Right? Now all you got to do is say the word Raleigh to a bunch of liberal snowflakes. White supremacy! No! Trump! Orange man! Bad! And the reality is the whole lot of them are retarded. All of them. Don't let words trigger you. Okay? Don't let words trigger you, including mine. Don't let them trigger you. Protest is just a word, not the end of the world, right? They've got a legitimate reason to be out there doing what they're doing, and they're doing it. Why? Because apparently they have more balls at this point than the American people do. And when you hear a word that makes your butt tingle, maybe, I don't know, find out what it means. 3 common sense gun safety bills to be introduced into Pittsburgh. Yay! Right? Because everything changed because we voted for Trump, right? Because Trump's in office, everything changed. What? Trump's one man? The rest of the government's still shit? Oh. The fuck? Hid it for decades. Johnson & Johnson may have known about carcinogens in baby powder since 1971. And I'll bet you they'll be protected. I'll bet you anything they'll be protected. Anyway, that's what I've got for you today. I will get this monologue out again too. I got my software straightened out last night for doing my video stuff. I had it installed. It wasn't working properly. I had to reinstall it, and So I will get that done and out probably before I go to bed tonight. For those that watch the live show, stick around. We've got 3 more hours. For those that just watched the monologue or the recording thereof, thank you very much. I know I approach things very differently. I know that I'm rough around the edges, and that, in my opinion, is a good thing. I try to speak with a much softer voice, with much kinder words, and it's just not doing it. You know, and when I started this, one of my promises was that I wasn't going to cherry coat anything. I wasn't going to avoid something because it was uncomfortable. I was going to be right out in front. I was going to be bold, and I was going to be honest. And we've reached a point in not only this country, but in the planet as a whole, that kindness isn't going to cut it. Reminds me of the movie Airplane, the scene to where like everybody's lined up to slap the shit out of the woman that's freaking out. Yeah. Imagine most of your countrymen and women, that woman freaking out in that chair with the Hare Krishna slapping the shit out of her. I love that movie. Classic movie. Anyway, as I said, for those that just watched the monologue, thank you. As always, God bless you, we love you, and be one with your spirit.